Yugoslav communist regime was notorious for keeping public uninformed. They controlled all information given to the public. All newspapers and TV stations were owned by the state. People had to rely on the word of mouth to learn what is happening. There were many rumors floating around. These helped conspiracy theories to blossom. Even deaths were unreported. One of the most prominent families lost 2 daughters within months. In any non-communist country, this would have been the scandal of the year. Today's tabloids would dissect the story and run it for weeks. But in communist Yugoslavia, the private lives of the elite were well guarded. How famous was the family who lost 2 daughters? Let's start with the father. Zvijetin Mijatović was born in 1913 in Bosnia. He joined Communist Party during 1930s. Mijatović served time in prison for his communist activities before World War II. During World War II, Mijatović joined partisans. He was known under the nickname Majo. After the war, he was proclaimed Narodni heroj. Narodni heroj translates as people's hero. Mijatović was one of the top politicians in Yugoslavia. Some sources state that Mijatović was Bosnian Serb. He always declared to be Yugoslavian. During his long career, Mijatović held many important positions. I'm not going to name all of them, just the most important. Mijatović was Yugoslav ambassador to the Soviet Union between 1961 and 1965. Each Yugoslav republic had Central Committee of the Communist League. Mijatović was the president of the Central Committee for Bosnia. Between 1974 and 1984, Mijatović was member of the Collective Presidency of Yugoslavia. The chairman of the presidency was Tito. This means that Mijatović worked directly under Tito. Tito died in 1980. Tito was against establishing political dynasties. Tito's children were never seen as his successors. Tito's direct successor was Lazar Koliševski from Macedonia. He held power for only 11 days until things settled down. He peacefully transferred the power to Mijatović. It was decided that every president would hold power for only 1 year. Mijatović was president of Yugoslavia between 15th May 1980 and 15 May 1981. The official title was President of the Presidency. I always found this to sound hilarious. Mijatović married Sabina Bogunović. She was theatre actress and 16 years his junior. They had 2 daughters, Mirjana, nicknamed Mira, born in 1961, and Maja, born in 1966. Sabina Mijatović died in a car accident in 1970. Her daughters were 9 and 4 at the time. In 1973, Mijatović married Mira Stupica. Mira Stupica was an actress like his first wife. The difference between his first and second wife was the level of fame. Mira Stupica was a huge star. She won all prestigious acting awards in Yugoslavia. But she also came from an extremely famous family. Her brother was Bora Todorović, one of most respected actors. Her nephew is Srđan Todorović, nicknamed Žika, who is both famous actor and musician. He is also the main actor in a Serbian film, one of the most controversial and disturbing movies ever made. Mira was widow of Bojan Stupica, famous theatre director. Mira and Bojan Stupica were a power couple in theatre world. One theatre was named after Bojan Stupica. Mijatović's daughters, Mira and Maja, were surrounded by the fame and prestige. Politicians lived in state-owned villas in Dedinje district in Belgrade. Mira and Maja were nicknamed Princesses of Dedinje. They held huge parties that were guarded by the police. All their friends were famous musicians, actors, and painters. Most of them were the kids of Yugoslav elite. While parents worked hard, the kids wandered between professions. I would describe them as the real lost generation. Their attention span was very short and they abandoned projects on a whim. The strange thing is that they all became drug addicts. And many died from overdoses and AIDS. Some believed that this drug addiction epidemic was caused by an organized group. Conspiracy theorists would point at CIA. Communist elite had to be weakened through their children. This sounds crazy enough that it might be true. The fact is that drugs were expensive and hard to find in Yugoslavia. Only the elite offspring had money and connections to get drugs. The regular teens had a problem with alcohol. Though I have to admit that the number of early deaths is mind-blowing. It's easier to list who is alive than who isn't. The whole movement was called Novi Talas, or the New Wave. This was a group of musicians, actors, painters who often worked together. Their music was a mix of punk, reggae, ska. They weren't anti-communists, though there was some critique against the society. The New Wave was also known for very dark lyrics. They had cult bands, cult albums, and cult movies. See how many times I repeated the word cult. The New Wave wasn't actual cult, but they came close to it. The New Wave fans saw the artists as divine creatures. I think young Yugoslavians needed something to believe in. These artists replaced preachers and prophets. Mijatović's daughter Mira decided she wanted to become a singer. She became member of the band Via Talas. Via is short for Vokalno-instrumentalni ensemble. English, vocal instrumental group. The name was later shortened to Talas or the Wave. They released only one album called Perfektan dan za banana ribe. English, Perfect Day for Banana Fish. The song Sama, English Alone, was used in the Yugoslav movie Sugary Water. The band ceased to exist soon after. Mijatović was very supportive of his daughters. He let Mira and her band practice in the basement of Dedinje villa. Mijatović only complained on the noise when he had Brezhnev on the line. Mira and her band would stop playing until her father finishes talking to Brezhnev. Mijatović also helped his younger daughter, Maja, who wanted to become an actress. She studied acting in Sarajevo, Bosnia. She became TV presenter, best known for hosting Nedeljno popodne on TV Sarajevo. Mira's boyfriend and band member was Bojan Pečar. Pečar later joined the cult band EKV or Ekaterina Velik. All original members of EKV died young. If we ignore Mira's family connections, she would have been famous for being Pečar's girlfriend. This means Mira had famous father, stepmother, and boyfriend. She achieved some fame in her own right. Both Mira and Maja died in 1991 within months of one another. Mira was 30 and Maja was 25. Their official causes of death are not known. Rumors mentioned drug overdose or AIDS. Dying from AIDS was considered shameful. Many friends didn't even know Mira and Maja died. They learned about it only months later. Cvijetin Mijatović died in 1993. He was buried next to his first wife and their daughters. Pečar died in 1998 in London from heart attack. He was 38. Mira Stupica died in 2016, aged 93. Many essays, books, and articles were written about the New Wave. I don't like how they are depicted. The narrative is that they were somehow predestined to die young. It is as if they had no control over their actions. Glorifying drug addicts sends a very dangerous message to the young people. The story about Mira and Maya shows the ugly side of the new wave. The first articles about their deaths appeared in 2010s. By then, most of their family and friends were gone. Thanks to internet, people are now much better informed or misinformed. But at least now we do get some information. The world experienced huge change within 30 years. Nowadays, it would be impossible to keep hidden such high-profile deaths. What were the reasons for not reporting about events in Yugoslavia? Communist regime wanted to create a positive picture about Yugoslav society. They wouldn't be able to explain why elite kids were taking drugs. The kids like Mira and Maya were given the best what communist regime could offer. They had all doors wide open for them. This would also show that communism is powerless in front of drug addiction. Plus, Yugoslav press always avoided to write about politicians' private life. We often didn't hear about divorces or private problems they had. Secrecy is one of the reasons why foreigners were surprised when Yugoslavia collapsed. Yugoslavia had many problems, but they were kept hidden. With the fall of communism, all the problems suddenly became visible, including drug addiction epidemic. Talking openly about the problems is the only way to solve them.